Rocket football fans, welcome to the first playoff edition of the Sean Thompson Rocket Football Coaches Show. We are coming to you from atop Rocket Stadium. We're here watching the crew, I guess you might say, stripe the field and get it ready for Friday night's opening round for Crittenden County and Russell anyway of the 2020 postseason. Coach Thompson, it's been a month since we've played football. Take us through what things are going to look like, how you feel as a coach with this layoff, the benefits and the challenges you've had to overcome.
You know, anytime there's a long layoff or you haven't played a game in a long time, it's kind of concerning to sit there and think we felt like we were in a good place as far as how we had things rolling, and then to come in 4 weeks later and finally get to play again. It's, you know, that's just tough. It's tough on the guys because to play football, you have to be able to take your place to a high level where you can be intense and stay there, and then you get that long layoff and don't get to go back to that place that you have to go. So it's been rough, you know, to navigate through these 4 weeks as far as how much practice is too much and how much is too little, and are we doing too much? Are we healthy? Or are we not healthy? You know, stuff like that. So it's been tough, but the opportunity to play is here again, and hopefully we'll go out and do what we're supposed to do.
I will remind you, this is the Whitetail Property Coaches Show, brought to you by Mark Williams, your local Whitetail Property agent, and a number of other local partners in this weekly broadcast. It hasn't been weekly lately because we haven't been playing football. No reason to have a coach's show the weeks I guess we don't play, is it, Coach Thompson?
Yeah, it's been a good break. This is the only benefit.
So the fact that we do have a lot to talk about here, we brought in defensive coordinator Gage Courtney. Welcome, Coach Courtney. This is the first time you've been on this year.
It is.
You've been hiding from me.
I appreciate you having me. Yeah, excited to talk about some of the guys and talk some football.
Well, we're so excited about this defense. It ranks among the top 5 in all of Class A. In fact, Crittenden County team defense number 2 in preventing opposing teams from scoring, giving up 13 points a game this year, and only team better is Paintsville at 11.4 points per game. We know a good bit of this goes to the fact that this linebacking crew is incredible. Your front, up front, you're incredible. We had a story in the Crittenden Press about those linebackers, and you were quoted and commented on each one of them. And what a crew this it really is, and in fact could be the best ever.
Yeah, for me, man, it's just been a blessing to coach those guys. They're so good. I mean, we've been working these same guys. Like, those linebackers have started now for 4 years.
Yeah.
So to me, it's, you know, small things, just correct them here and there, but they can pretty much run themselves. We just have a bunch of really good players. But I think those linebackers will tell you a lot of their success is also from those guys in front of them. And I know we say the box in the front 6 or 8, and just according to however you're talking about it, but the defensive line's really played well. At times, it's been our strength of the year, in my opinion. You know, we're only as good as those guys as far as the linebackers as the guys in front of us. They keep people off of us, allow us to make tackles, you know, penetrate the passer. They just did a ton for us up front. So, you know, I've been really pleased with our front 3.
Of course, we are number 2 in Class A in team sacks, and Dylan Yates is number 1 with 9. T-Bone is number 12 in those Class A rankings, the state leaders. He has 4. So when you've got like you say, up front, talk about those guys individually. Sometimes we don't mention them. We talk about the linebackers, Tyler Boone, Cade McAllister, and Braxton Winters all the time. Those guys up front, run through them for me.
Yeah, Dylan Yates, you brought him up. He just such a hard worker. Motor never stops. Always, all season, doesn't matter. He's just always going to go. And his effort pays off in the off season and during practice and when he's out there. Just a non-stop motor. All 3 of them very coachable and always just in the right spots playing unselfish football. And it's paid off for his team defense-wise. Mm-hmm. Moving on to nose guard, Lathan Easley. He's been a guy that's been getting it done for us for a long time. You know, I believe throughout last couple of years, defense or offenses have kind of keyed on him a little bit. He gets doubled a lot. His production is actually a little bit down this year from where it's been in the past, but he's still doing a really good job. He's fast, he's explosive, he's strong, he's small, but he can really get it done right there. Then the other end, Mcgowan, he's long, he's technical, he's coachable, he's always in the right spot. You see him tracking plays down the field 50 yards sometimes on screen passes or plays that break. Just having a guy like that that's going to be a technician, and also just all the effort that he gives me each play. And then you got to talk about Preston Turley, who's also long, and they all four rotate and play the same amount of reps. It's just giving them breaks wherever they need it, because some of them play more offense than others. But he gives a lot of the same things to other guys. He's long. He's got, he hasn't played as much as some of them, so technically he's getting better all the time. So he still has a lot of upside, but he's been really good for us.
Noah Mcgowan is a guy that doesn't get a whole lot of publicity, and it's hard. Linemen don't generally get a whole lot of publicity anyway, but he may be overshadowed a little bit by some of these other guys who do get more. But I'll guarantee you the opposing coaches see him on film, don't you?
Yeah, I think every time we play him, like Coach Thompson, they'll mention something about Noah to him, or I'll hear something. They're always talking about him. It's kind of crazy that he's overlooked when you just look at him. I mean, he stands out. As soon as you see him, you can tell he's a little different than anything else that we have. And then you add his technical. I mean, he's not just big and strong and fast. He can play football, technically sound.
We'll wrap back around and talk about the offense in just a minute, but I would like to get some reflection from you guys on some of the games that were played last week and some of the games that are coming up. Any surprises that you all saw, particularly in Class A? We can talk about any of the classes, but in Class A, Bethlehem beat Campbellsville, KCD beat Berea, Eminence beat Frankfort, Ludlow beat Dayton. I'm not going to give you the scores. Nicholas, because most of them aren't even close. Nicholas County beat Paris, Paintsville beat Betsy Lane, Pikeville beat Sayre, Hazard defeated Phelps, Williamsburg knocked off Lynn Camp, and Pineville beat Harlan in the first round of the playoffs. No surprises really anywhere.
I don't think so. A lot of those teams, I don't follow them enough to know if it's a surprise or not. I think to me, the Bethlehem and Campbellsville score is kind of surprising, just with the ability that Campbellsville has and that quarterback they have, not being able to put up points right there. But Bethlehem's a really good football team and are coached well and play hard, so they're probably a little up right now. A
team that we've seen multiple times in the playoffs, and they've been a little bit of surprise this year, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They're an explosive team, really. Their offense, they have some athletes on offense that can really get things done, and of course, we know all too well they're tough on defense. They have really tough kids. They're kind of similar to us as far as the mentality of their kids have. So that's probably the one that stood out to me the most.
Bethlehem will be at Louisville Holy Cross this week, and Eminence will be at Kentucky Country Day. And Kentucky Country Day is a team that we have seen, obviously, last year and knocked us out of the playoffs. A team we thought we might see again. The way things are falling, we beat Russellville, and we very well could.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of scenarios.
Lots of scenarios.
I don't even want to sit there and the funny thing is so we go out Friday and we win. We still, I couldn't tell you after Friday night who we're going to play. Because Holy Cross don't play till Saturday.
Oh,
and they're ahead of us in RPI, and that Holy Cross Bethlehem matchup could be a good one.
Sure. That's going to be a very.
That's a day behind in Mr. Plan-A-Lot's weekly.
Coach Courtney, he likes to spend a lot of time watching film, doesn't he? Hey, you know what? That's a sign of a good coach, though. Anybody that prepares like that. There are two things I think over the years that I've learned that's a common denominator among good coaches. Number one, they work hard. They study. Spend a lot of time working at it. Number two, they have great players. Exactly. Which all great coaches have great players. And we have some great players this year, and we want to talk some more about those guys. But let's get into a little bit of Russellville. Russellville, obviously, a team we're very familiar with. In fact, more familiar with the Russellville Panthers than any other team in the history of Rocket football. We've played them. This will be the 53rd time we have played them, which is the most we've ever played one individual school, which ties with Caldwell. We've actually played Caldwell County 53 times. And Russellville holds an advantage in the all-time series. They've beat us 32 times out of those 52 games, so we have 20 wins. But we've won 13 of the last 17 and 5 straight, and we beat them pretty good down at Russellville a few weeks ago. And that was the game that Xander Tabor got hurt, and Cade McAllister came in and ran for almost 200 yards. Coach Thompson, give us an update on Xander. I know it was several weeks for sure. I know he had surgery. But is there any scenario where he could actually come back and play football this season?
I don't want to say there's not a scenario. I think it's all based in his healing process and how the doctors feel about how things are going. I know in his head and with his mindset, he's going to do everything that he can to make sure that as long as we're playing, he's trying to get back to the field. He wants to play. He's hungry to get on the field. So I'm not going to sit here and say there's not a scenario where that happens, or there is a scenario where that happens. It's just not going to be this Friday, that's for sure.
Yeah. Of course, we want to be playing a few more weeks anyway, maybe give Xander an opportunity to get back out here for his senior season. As far as Russellville goes, Lennon Reese, the quarterback, did not have a very good game against us last time, and the running back, Gamble, we held him to 54 yards, so we just kind of ran them off the field, got on them early, like we did last year in the playoffs. And what's the secret to getting that done again? Because we'd like for this one to be over early Friday.
It's about coming out and playing football, making sure you do what you're coached to do. A lot of it is ball control on the offensive side and make sure we finish and drive with scores. And then defensively, I think Coach Courtney tell you is putting pressure on, putting them in situations where they have to throw the ball and not sit there and run it at you, and then being able to put the pressure on the quarterback. So as long as the kids come out and do what they're coached to do, I think we'll have the opportunity to do that. But Russellville's a good football team. They're not just going to let us do it. We can't just show up Friday, especially after the long layoff, and think we're going to do the same thing we did last time.
Well, they certainly have some athletes. And, the last time we played them down there, beat them 47-6, Coach Courtney. 34 yards rushing is what they had, and 24 yards passing. I know you don't want to give away any secrets, but how do you stop a team that's got athletes like that and really, put the mushroom on them?
I think it's just coming out throughout the week and being focused. I felt like that was the biggest thing. We had a great week of practice going into that game the time before that we played them, and then we were able to go out there and execute. I feel like the defensive line really won the line of scrimmage, and the linebackers have been getting better and better, and that's when I really thought they came out of their shell and we played the best ball that we played, up to that week, the last time that we played them. And also in the secondary, we're able to handle some guys one-on-one, which helps us in the run and kind of gets them out of things that out of things that they want to do. That's been big key. I know our secondary, as Lee's talked about, probably the most improved group that we've had. And the things that they're able to do, we can gain extra guys in the box and get extra run support because they're better in coverage. So they've really been helped us, even though they're not thought of as run players, but what they can do by covering really helps us in the run game as well.
Well, certainly one of your best defensive back. I guess if you've got a lockdown guy, it's a Preston Morganson, and he got hurt at Henderson, and now he's back. What's his recovery been like, and where's he at now?
Preston's a guy that wants to be on the field, so it was actually extremely hard to keep him off the practice field, even for a couple days. He's back to, I would say he's 100% today. He's going to play on Friday. But we've tried to limit him. We've had 4 weeks off since the last time we played a game, and he's a guy that just wants to be a part of it. He loves what he's doing. But we're here now, and he's 100%, so he's going to play football.
He was out at my house a few nights ago with Benjamin and some other boys, and we were talking about his at Henderson, and I said, you were really hurt. You had a tear in your eye. He said, I wasn't crying. He said the tear wasn't because of the pain. It's because I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And that's just the way he is. He just really wants to play. All these kids are like, if you see them showing a tear or some emotion like that, on anxiousness or anxiety on the field if they're injured, mostly it's because they're afraid they're going to come out of the game.
Yeah, and it's funny that that night I think he was in for a big game. That first drive was him. They did not have an answer for him, and he made some big plays for us, and then he goes down right there. We might have been able to do some things differently if we had him.
If I'm not mistaken, he still ended up leading the team in receiving that night.
A bit close between him and Nesbitt.
Yeah. So, this week, is there anything with Russellville we can expect different? I'm sure everybody's had some time off, so you're going to see. You've had an opportunity as coaching staffs to put a wrinkle or two in, to change some things you do. Is there anything we're anticipating out of them?
Yeah, I anticipate them to come out and fight a little more than they did last time. Once we got on them early, they kind of packed it up and really didn't have the fight that I expected them to have come Friday night. I know that it's a group of athletes, a group of competitors, a group of guys that want to go out and win a district championship, a group of guys that don't want to hang their pads up this year. They want to continue to go, and they're going to come out and play that way. So I expect it to be a really good game Friday night. And, we just got to make sure that we set the tone and we keep it going. Don't allow those guys to be the aggressors.
I want to take a moment to thank a number of our sponsors here, people who are partners in all these broadcasts we do, and we'll get to in just a moment talking about how you can watch the football game this week. And all of these partners have been a very integral part of that. Of course, Whitetail Properties, Mark Williams, agent, Shara Solutions on the New York Stock Exchange, Homestead Realty when you're buying or selling, Farmers Bank, your trusted hometown bank since 1899, Riley Tool Machine, grinding away for Friday football, Deer Lakes Golf Course, home of the Rockets golf team, Sea Plant Federal Credit Union, now on Main Street in Marion, Johnson's Furniture, your top choice for sales and service, Ellington Detailing, where we keep our Rockets looking sharp, Par 4 Plastics, our team is Rocket proud, Colwell Banker Real Estate, that's Al Starnes, and he's always a Rocket. And he's just coming off of pretty good sickness too, guys, and I talked to him a couple of nights ago, and he really sounds a whole lot better now. Also, would like to thank YTG Insurance. Call for a quote today. Mike and Stoner's Barbershop, where a haircut is an experience. H&H Home and Hardware, your one-stop shop for everything. Marion Eye Care Center, Dr. Adria Porter, optometrist. Magnolia Bank, Derek Myers, mortgage specialist. Fraser and Massey Law Offices in Marion. Mulligan's Pizza and Pub. Max 2 Custom Tint and Detail. And First United Bank. Are you ready to switch banks? That's a mouthful, guys. I want to talk a little bit about the broadcast for this week. We will be, the Creighton Press will no longer be doing the games on its YouTube channel. From now on, Creighton County High School has joined the National Federation of High School Sports Network, the NFHS Sports Network. There's an app on your smartphone that you can go download. And you do have to buy a subscription to watch the games. You can do it on your computer. You can cast this to your television. Any way you've been able to watch it before, you will be able to watch it on those devices this week, but you will have to buy a subscription. And Coach Thompson, I don't know if you want to get into the school will share in some of the proceeds in this going forward. Jump in here anytime you want. But the Federation, I just want everybody to understand where you need to go to do this. It's a small price to pay. For the cost of a couple of tickets, you can watch the rest of the playoffs. So it's like $10.99 for a monthly subscription. And if you want to get a whole year subscription, it's $69.99, $70. I went ahead and got one because I enjoy watching other games on weeks we're off.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits is you have access to all NFHS. Yeah, all over. You can watch anyone who is set up through that one subscription. So,
and this includes basketball too.
Yeah, for us, we have our cameras on the football field and then in Rocket Arena. So you'll be able to watch basketball in Rocket Arena and volleyball in Rocket Arena. Basically anything that happens. If we had graduation on the football field or in Rocket Arena, you could watch graduation on there. So it's just it's opportunity for us to, benefit off of the subscriptions as far as our programs at the school go, and then also an opportunity to provide, especially in a time like now, quality video that you can go and watch the games and not be at the stadium.
Mm-hmm. And particularly at this point, and we know that basketball, once it starts after Christmas, is going to be very limited in the number of people.
Very limited.
Very limited.
Extremely.
So if you want to watch Rocket basketball, this is your best option right here. Is to go ahead and get your subscription. I'm encouraging you to do it. And the audio on this is going. If you've ever watched this, if you're familiar at all with the Federation Sports Network, we've seen it seems like the audio is the weakest link.
Yeah.
But I think we've solved that. We've had some engineering going on out here at Rocket Stadium this week, and I hope we can. Our same crew will broadcast the game for you, and hopefully we'll bring you a good product on that. But be sure and get that subscription done so you can watch it. Get it done ahead of time because it takes a few minutes, like anything else, when you go through on your computer or your smartphone to go ahead and get that part done and out of the way so you can log in Friday night. And we will come on there at 6:45 with pregame show with Tanner and Mike and Ethan Dossett, the former Rockets. Coach Thompson, I know, of course, the last time we played, we after the game we lost a very devoted individual in Ronnie Myers who has given so much for Rocket football over the years. We lost him on the trip back, and most of you who are listening know that story. He had a heart attack and passed away. But you've done a number of things to honor and recognize his legacy of what he's done for Rocket football. Go ahead, tell us what some of the things you're doing and what you're doing on the field this week.
For us, Ronnie is such a huge part of everything we do. It's funny, you never realize how much someone does until they're not there to do it anymore, and just the impact and the effect that he had on Rocket football was just so large. So we continue to miss Ronnie every day, and really and truly, the rest of this season is about finishing out in a way that he would be proud, because that's the one thing that you think back to that night. He was so proud of the way we played against Henderson. We want to continue to honor his name by playing in a way that would make him proud. So we're going to continue to do that. But some things that we've done just to make sure that we're constantly reminded of him and his legacy is we've got memorial stickers on the back of our helmets, so the players will always be reminded, and then on the field this week we're gonna put his initials on the field as well. So the 50 will be represented with an R and an M instead of a 5 and a 0, just because he's there. He's just to be a part of us. He's been here. This will be the first time that I've ever been a part of a Rocket football game that Ronnie wasn't. In attendance, so we know that he'll be watching, and we know he'll be here. So, that's what we're doing.
There's been so many people over the years when you reflect back on it that have been a part of the program, and some we have lost during seasons like that, and it seems like it has a greater impact. But I look out across the hill over in the Greg Belt Memorial, or it's the former player memorial, but we put it up right after Greg Belt had passed away. And that was in the off season, but still a reminder every time I look over there of what a great individual Greg Belt was, and a great player, and what he meant to the program. And then Pippi Harden, I remember that he, former judge executive, a huge Rocket fan, and he did the coin toss at a game, ceremonial coin toss, and then it was just a few weeks later that he passed away. And he lived right up here on the hill right behind that memorial. So just so many memories, and so much that so many people have given to the program that's made it what it is today. Made it a program that's getting ready to go on a quest. And I wrote about this week, Manifest Destiny. You guys know what that is. It's a term that was coined back in the 1800s as the country started spreading west, and kind of just the vision for the destiny of the United States. And I think this group of players, particularly this senior group, has had that vision. And I've quoted some guys in the paper. Grab you a Critton Press, you can read about that. But so much. These guys feel some pressure to win. Braxton Winters was quoted that, this is our last chance to do this. But they know, and I think after that Henderson game, of course they've always known they were good, but they really know they're good now.
Yeah, and
what can stop them?
Them. That's the only thing. We talked about that today. When a team steps on the field with us, they do not choose the outcome. We do. That's the mentality we have. That's what we preach. That's what we live by. We go out there. If we lay an egg, that we give them an opportunity. But if we go out there and we do our job every play and sell out for each other, the other team is not relevant. You know what I'm saying? We'll have a chance in the end. And I think that the kids understand that. They believe it, and all of them as a whole. And when you have a group of guys that believe in one thing, have one common goal, it's really hard to stop them.
Coach Courtney, you were on that great team in 2008 that was one game away from the state championship. What do you see in these guys maybe that is similar to the team that you played on, or maybe something that's different between those guys back in 08?
I think it's both the belief and the expectation. I felt like our senior class had the same belief that we weren't gonna lose, and that was the mentality that we had. Now I think this group is much more, even further than that. Their belief is. It's the way they practice, the way they play. You mentioned Braxton Winters. After the Henderson game, he just said, I never dreamed that we would lose another football game. And he meant it. I mean, those guys truly believe every time they step out there, they're going to win. And they should. They're good enough to do that. Like Coach Thompson said, as long as we don't get in our own way, we continue to stay humble and focused and work hard and finish this thing out. There's no reason that they can't end up where they want to be.
And that team that you played for was a really good football team, but doggone it, we got to the semifinals against Beechwood, and we found out they were a really good football team.
Yeah, we were
just no match for them.
No match. We could have played them 100 times. I really don't think that we would have got them one time.
No. And that's the year we beat Mayfield twice.
Yes,
pretty good football team.
Right. Yeah, I feel like we had a lot of heart back then, but we didn't have the guys that this team has.
Yeah, that's the point I kind of am trying to get to is across the board. Man for man, we're 14, 15 players deep, really, this year. Yeah. And and I'm saying compared to a lot of times, you've got 4 or 5 guys that are really good football, but this team's got a lot of good football players.
Yeah. They're all around, every position, everywhere you look around. I mean, it's different. Like, somebody goes down, usually the guy behind them can step right in, and you don't miss a beat. You can rotate guys, and you never know. I mean, it's just all over the field. Where in the past, like when I played, somebody good went down, that changed everything. We had to move all the pieces. The whole offense might change, just whatever. It's just not like that. It's a true team, and everybody next guy up is real with these guys.
And I think we saw that with Xander Tabor. Of course, don't misunderstand. He's a great player, and we miss him. And what a difference he would have made at Henderson. What a difference he would make in these playoffs. But I did not sense. I remember when David Beverly got hurt. I remember when Sean would get hurt and leave a game. I remember those kind of situations. And then it's just everybody's shoulders drop. You can see it on everybody's face. And I've seen other teams go the same way. But you're right. This team just steps right up. And to lose a guy like that and still to be in position that you're in.
Yeah, you're right. Everyone, and I think it's great to bring that up. I do want to mention that Caden was I guess it was released today that Caden was the District 1 Player of the Year. McAllister, and I'd say a lot of it had to do with that game where he steps in for Xander and goes off. But I do want to say that I probably miss Xander more than anybody each day because, having X out there, allowed for me to at least not feel the pressure of making sure I call the right play all the time or the right formation, knowing that he's a guy that could go out there and I can call something bad and he could just make it happen because he was that good. And I'm not saying Caden's not that. I'm just saying that it's 2 different positions. X was a guy that I could mess up back there and call it wrong and he would fix me. And when you lose that as a coach and you've been dependent on it, it's tough. So I'm hoping for that dude to have a really fast recovery, get him back, and be able to use him again. But as far as Caden is tough, and he's just tough. He's tough-minded. You cannot penetrate this man's mind, and he's determined to be as good as he can be, and that's why you get what you get out of him. So for him to step in and really play in that position, probably the most pressure position we have, because that was one of our best players, you know, and do what he's done, you expect that of him, you know, if you're around him every day. Maybe Russellville didn't expect that, maybe other teams that we played didn't expect that, but we all knew that Caden would be okay, even with the limited reps he had at that position. So, you know, we have that all the way across the board. And at a Class A school, you know, where rosters are small anyway, when you can go as deep as we can go, man, that's an advantage.
And if you want to know the rest of the players of the year, or the all WKC players, those will be announced today, and we will release it. Is that right? Or is it just the player of the year?
It's released. It's out there.
Okay, so we'll have that all on the website this afternoon.
Yeah,
if you want to check that out.
He's not doing his social media scanning today like he should. It's out. Come on, Chris.
All right, guys. Anything we want to wrap up here as we get ready to start the playoffs, COVID style? Anything else?
Man, tickets are going to be limited. Make sure if you got that opportunity to get tickets, you know, come support. If not, go on NFHS and support, man. We still want to party every Friday night just like we do any other time. So continue to support the guys. Continue to respect what we're trying to do as far as falling in line with all the COVID guidelines and trying to make sure that we can play each and every week, that we have the opportunity to play. But that's about it for me.
Coach Courtney? Surely you have some sage wisdom you would like to shed on this ball game.
Just playoff football at Rocket Stadium. Best place to be. Just excited for it. It's been a long time. I'm just excited to get out here, get in front of these fans again. It seems like it was last year. It's been a whole year since we played here.
It really does.
And watch them paint this field. I'm just excited about getting the opportunity to come out here and show what these guys can do.
I'll tell you what, do for me. Call that Raceland-Paintsville game.
Raceland-Paintsville. The score, man. I wish I knew if the quarterback was going to play for Paintsville. I'm feeling like Raceland is going to get that game.
Of course, they beat them in the regular season.
They beat them in the regular season, and then there's talks of their quarterback might be a little limpy. Didn't play last week.
So a lot of eyes on that one this week.
Yes, it is.
A lot of eyes on that game. All right, guys, we'll see you Friday night out here. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. We will have the pregame show starting at 6:45 on the National Federation of High School Sports Network and the Rocket Sports Network.
You didn't let me pick the game, Chris.
Well, you had something else sage to say. Would you like to say something else, Coach Thompson?
I'm going with Paintsville. Quarterback or no quarterback.
You're going straight with Paintsville? I
just wanted that to be out there.
Okay.
Just because
chicken sandwich.
Just because he picked off, that's the only reason.
All right, guys. For the Rocket coaching staff, this is Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press. We'll see you Friday night at the football game.